The Metropolitan Area Planning Agency announces the FY2025 RPA-18 STBG and Regional TA Set-Aside call for projects. The following information will be provided for eligible jurisdictions to apply for and receive funding related to these two funding streams. The Regional Planning Affiliation, or RPA-18, is part of a statewide system of planning agencies covering areas not covered by MPOs, which cover metropolitan areas above 50,000 people. RPA-18 serves Harrison, Shelby, and Mills counties completely, while serving rural areas of Pottawattamie not part of the MAPA MPO region, which constitutes areas in and around Council Bluffs and western Pottawattamie County. The RPA-18 call for projects for Regional STBG and Regional TA Set-Aside opened on October 16, 2023. This call for projects will run through January 26 of 2024. Following the end of the call for projects, a 30-day public comment period from January 29th to February 28th will take place, where members of the public can comment on the received applications. Project selection will take place at the March 13th, 2024 RPA Policy and Technical Committee meeting. MAPA estimates that roughly $800,000 of STBG funding will be available during this call for projects, covering the time period from FY2025 through FY2028. And now to go over the Regional RPA-18 STBG Transportation Projects application. Applicants will need to provide a project name and date, a contact person, phone number, address of contact person, the name of the lead jurisdiction project sponsor, and a signature. Applicants must also provide the classification of a project, whether it be a highway, transit, or transportation alternatives project, which are all eligible for STBG funding. The following questions detail narrative and budget-related items in the STBG application. Question 6 will require the applicant to provide the proposed project and its regional significance within the space provided. Question 7 will ask for a brief description of the project area, including a map which will need to be drawn and included in the application. Question 8 includes a project budget, which would include land site acquisition, construction materials, engineering and consulting costs, and capital acquisition. Applicants will also need to provide the revenue source that they're applying for, in addition to the amount of local match that will be included. Question 9 requires a work plan and a schedule for the project. Question 10 asks if there's a need to coordinate with other entities in terms of implementation of the project. Questions 11 through 13 for this STBG application are for highway projects only. These questions include the average daily traffic of the proposed project, the federal functional classification of the proposed project, the basic road and bridge sufficiency values for the project, if it's a bridge, if it's structurally deficient or functionally obsolete, and then its sufficiency rating. On the next page, you can see for question 14, there's a project checklist to ensure that all items in the applications are included. These items include the project description, the project location map, project budget, project work plan with schedule, and a motion or letter of support for local match required. An elected official or representative from your applying agency will need to fill out the bottom form stating that they approve of this application. Moving forward to Regional TA Set-Aside funding, MAPA estimates $770,000 of available funding in the next 4 years of the FY25 call for projects. MAPA encourages any potential applicants to apply, as there is a large amount of funding available for this funding stream. And now we will go over the TA Set-Aside application. Both for regional and state TA Set-Aside, the Iowa DOT TA Set-Aside application is being used. Applicants will need to provide a project sponsor, contact name, contact title, email address, street address, city, zip code, phone number, and a unique entity identifier for their applications. If your jurisdiction does not have a UEI number, you need to register at sam.gov with this number. Applicants must also provide the RPA that they are in, which is RPA-18 in this case. Part B of the TA Set-Aside application requires a project title, a project description, whether or not the project is going to be considered for safe routes to school funding in the future, if the application is immediately adjacent to a state-designated Iowa byway, whether or not it will be open to the public in the future, and if so, if it will be intended to charge a fee. Part C of the TA set-aside application includes project costs and matching funds. Column 1 is the total project cost to the project sponsor. Include all costs whether TA set-aside reimbursement is intended or the cost will be paid entirely with local or other funds. Most project sponsors do not intend to request reimbursement toward all project costs. The amount listed in column 1 for each type of cost should be placed in either column 2 or column 3. The costs listed in column 2 are those that are not intended to be claimed for TA set-aside reimbursement. Costs listed in column 3 are costs the project sponsor does intend to claim for reimbursement. No row should have costs in all 3 columns, and the total of column 2 plus the total of column 3 should equal the total of column 1. Some of the components included include right-of-way acquisition, preliminary design, construction engineering, and other costs. Applicants must also provide the matching funds will be used for the project. Please note that a 20% local match is required for all federal funding, which includes TA set-aside on the regional and state level. Applicants must provide this match on this part of the application. Part D of the TA set-aside application includes project development milestones. As you can see on the screen, a timeline of project milestones is required. For a construction project or as applicable, estimated dates should be identified for major milestones including submittal of a concept statement, anticipated NEPA clearance, initiation of preliminary design, acquisition of right-of-way, completion of final design, planned project letting date, start of construction, estimated construction completion date, completion of a final construction audit, and when final closure of the project is expected. Any additional milestones as appropriate for your project should also be included. Projects will be required to be let within 2 years of funds being available programmed in the TIP or the STIP to the project. Upon award and execution of a program funding agreement, projects that fail to make satisfactory progress will be terminated by the Iowa DOT. Part E includes safe routes to school projects. The information below will include your school's name, number of students, and the number of students who live within a certain radius, whether they walk, bike, or bus to school. In terms of evaluating the success of a project, please discuss your plans for evaluating the success of the project. The SRTS program goal is to enable and encourage more students to walk and bike to school. How will you measure your success? What method will you use to determine whether more students are walking to biking or school? What are your specific goals for the project? Your plans for measurement should minimally include using student survey forms provided at saferoutesdata.org and gather before and after figures for students who are walking to school, biking to school, driven to school, or bus to school. Please provide a narrative response in the space below. The following questions are included in the TA set-aside application, both for regional and state funding. These include a detailed description of the project, the impact of the project, alignment with local, regional, or statewide planning documents, federal aid highway project development process, understanding and capacity, meaning the ability of the jurisdiction who is applying and their ability to get projects across the finish line when it comes to federal aid process. Contribution towards safety for all transportation modes. Enhancement of statewide tourism benefits. The need for the proposed project. The need to improve accessibility. A long-term maintenance plan. Project readiness, and public input process for the project. The following guidance includes the statewide TA set-aside program and its differences from the regional TA set-aside program. Applications for TA set-aside on the statewide level are due November 27, 2023. Key aspect of the statewide TA set-aside program is the expansion of the multimodal trail network through completion of trail linkages, which are emphasized. Project scopes must include activities that take place statewide or in multiple regions. Applications must also show that they significantly expand multimodal networks within your region. Significant tourism benefits are also scored higher, in addition to multi-regional implementation, which means multiple jurisdictions, which can include multiple counties, school districts, or even states. Some additional priorities of the statewide TA set-aside program include trail connectivity, most notably an emphasis based on connecting and expanding the existing network, in particular on a regional level. Another priority is a safe routes to school emphasis, in particular within 2 miles of a school, providing an additional connection for students to take alternative modes to school, whether it be walking, biking, or transit. Projects that are endorsed by byway commissions and are directly adjacent to Iowa byways will also be scored higher. On the screen in front of you includes the statewide TA set-aside criteria. Some components include statewide and multi-regional impact, connectivity and completion of trail linkages, alignment with local, regional, statewide planning documents, federal aid highway project development process understanding and capability, meaning that your jurisdiction has proven its ability to apply for and carry out a federal aid project, contribution towards safety for all modes, enhancements of tourism, the leveraging of non-federal funding sources, which can include local match among other sources, proposed project need, whether or not the project addresses high-need areas, improvements upon accessibility, long-term maintenance arrangements, and project readiness. Some final notes on the statewide TA set-aside program. Applicants will need a resolution from a governing body or board for state TA set-aside applications. Please ask any questions of MAPA and Iowa DOT as soon as possible. Applications are due November 27, 2023. For potential applicants who are not going to be able to reach the November 27th deadline, we do encourage all applicants to keep in mind for next year, as this is an annual call for projects. We thank you for taking time today to learn about the RPA-18 call for projects, both for regional STBG, regional TA set-aside, and state TA set-aside. The RPA-18 call for projects will close on January 26th of 2024. Please do not hesitate to reach out at rpa@mapacog.org with any questions you have related to your application. We look forward to hearing from you.